Hello, guys. My name is Celestia, and my new album, 1000 Year Old Siren, is out right now. It's available in all digital stores across the world. And today I want to talk about it. I want to make, I'd say, MTV style YouTube video. So in the 90s, they would do those videos like track by track, and artists would talk about their albums. And that's what I'm going to do here today. But before that, we need a disclaimer, I feel like, because this album is heavy. I'm talking about depression, suicidal thoughts, sexual violence against women, some body parts and stuff, sexual content as well. So if you're not feeling comfortable with those, I'm also talking about eating disorders, by the way. So all of it might be uncomfortable for you, or maybe you're not the age that is required to be watching those videos. Please step away. Find another video. Maybe you will feel triggered by those topics, and I don't want you to feel worse, on your journey. With that out of the way, we can actually jump headfirst into the ocean of tears within the dance music album. 1000 Year Old Siren. I written this album, well, I'd say during this year in 2025, but many songs from it were made years ago. They changed. This new album, it's completely different. All of the things I'd done before, I kind of changed it a bit, tweaked it. So all the lyrical content, sonically, everything changed. So it's a new body of work. But I want to talk about the album altogether first a little bit, and then we're gonna jump into the tracks. I say this is my magnum opus because this actually was supposed to be my original debut album. It was going to be named Venus, and it was supposed to come out in 2021, but many things changed. I quit working with a producer I used to work back then. Life basically happened, and I recorded the album Dark Fairy all on my own and released it on my own, produced it, recorded everything. It's completely mine, it's my project. And I mean this one as well, but this time around I was working with one guy. His name is Danya. He's great. He's a recording engineer, sound producer. So basically I was making songs per usual, making melodies and all, and then we get together at the studio and record it. We started recording the album in, I'd say, March, late March, and we recorded the last song, which was, I believe, Dead Mermaids, actually, the English version of Dead Mermaids. We did it in late September, so it's very fresh. It's pretty much straight out of the oven. So for me, this is the album about self-discovery, depression, and just feeling overall tired with life. I created this character, 1000 Year Old Siren, who experiences throughout the album stages of accepting the reality and having to actually go through life. Because that's what I struggled for the most part. I am quite depressed since I was 13 years old. And it was always very difficult to face the world for me. So I made this character who feels in many ways like this superhero version of myself, but also she's completely different in many ways. She's obviously just much more strong. I mean, she had 1,000 years under her belt, and I only had 31. Or like my dad says, almost 40. But I'm gonna say that I just love this album so much. It helped me heal in many ways I thought I never could. And I'm still healing, I'm still on my journey. But overall, I hope it helps other people to understand themselves better, because it's deeply psychological album. Even though it's dance music, it's witch house, it's sometimes industrial even, it's dark pop music influenced my album for sure. But I'd say you will feel it immediately that it's not simple pop record. And there's nothing wrong with simple pop records, honestly. It's just not this kind of body of work. So, track number 1, 1000-Year-Old Siren. "1000-Year-Old Siren" was just a line in my notes on my iPhone 11, which I'm still using, in, I'd say, late March, around the time I started recording the album. And I immediately knew that it's going to be a name of the album and it's going to be a song. I don't usually write songs like this, but this time I just had a line and then I worked around it. I've written the lyrics pretty quickly, I'd say within like 30 to 40 minutes. And I immediately stepped into this world. I knew how it's going to go from then. Because 1000-Year-Old Siren was not the first song for the album, but I made it soon after I made the first track, which was Bitch and Heat, which we're going to talk about later on. But I was surprised when I pretty recently checked the lyrics for 1000-Year-Old Siren and realized that it's not actually only about the thing I thought originally it was about. So at first I thought it was just my anxiety and depression all together and feeling like I don't want to do this whole thing anymore. You know, I don't want to live anymore. And that's how it was born. But there are a few lines that honestly shocked me to the core, because I said in this song, "Now I pay the price for somebody's lies." And that, my friends, is actually about being a trans woman, you know. And as many of you may know or may not know, I am an intersex woman. I'm a trans woman. And I realized that that's how it feels like these days, because the propaganda against us, against LGBTQ plus people in general, almost makes people angry with us just for existing. And that's the line. That's what it means, you know. Now I pay the price, because it almost feels like I have to prove myself. I have to be nice. I have to be right. I have to be, you know, a friend. And I'm not saying I'm not a friend or all of those nice roles, but I'm allowed to be real and raw and sometimes fucking crazy and weird and bitter and scared. Like, I am multidimensional, you know, and this is the whole thing that this album was made about this woman, you know, who's so complicated. And it's almost like, I mean, any woman in this day and age is not allowed to be complicated, but especially a trans woman, you know, I have to be one-dimensional. I have to be digestible for people to believe me, to accept me. And with this album, I'm kind of saying, fuck it. I'm not perfect, never was, never will be. And I'm still trying to accept it myself, you know. So, yeah, this is 1000-Year-Old Siren. I don't know what else to say about this song. I think you should just listen to it and pay attention to the lyrical content, because it's important. sonically, I'd say it's inspired by The Cure in a way, the 80s, because you can hear it like the synths. We also use the harp in it, which I love in the beginning. And I actually, for the first track and the last track, I recorded the sounds of the sea myself. I went to my favorite beach early in the morning and I just recorded it. Also, the birds in the song, I recorded that too in the forest nearby the same morning. So, yeah, let's move along. Track number 2, Bitch in Heat.
I'm your bitch in heat, down on your knees. I've got something sweet, something that you need. I'm your bitch in heat.
Bitch in Heat was the first song I recorded and the first song I actually wrote for the album. 2025 was quite difficult for me, just like for all of us, honestly. But I broke up with my last boyfriend on January 3rd. And during this relationship and during the last couple of years, honestly, I was like contemplating, maybe I am asexual. Maybe, I just don't want those things anymore. But turned out it was just not my guy. And no offense to him, it was just, I guess, not meant to be, I'd say, And at the time, while we were still together, I obviously didn't realize it, or maybe I was in denial. I don't know. But in about mid-January, I started writing lyrics for the song. And those lyrics were offensive, aggressive, sexual. And I just felt it, my libido, it was back full force and even stronger than it ever was. It felt like I was asleep for years and now I was back. And the melody came to me instantly. Like I made the melody and the whole track, I feel like in under 10 minutes, which was crazy. And then we recorded it in March. It was the first song we recorded, yeah, like I said. I am so happy that this song came to me. I'm so happy that I was able to do this pop track that reminded me of so many great songs I was listening to growing up. Obviously, I was thinking about Britney Spears, about all those girls from that era. And I just felt liberated and powerful and ready to date again, surprisingly. I was honestly shocked how fast I was ready for the world. Well, I mean, my relationship ended because he cheated. So in a way, grieving was easier because, I was not grieving great love lost. It was just the guy who, did the thing. Good for him. God bless, I don't believe in God. Anyways, well, there is some sort of power and I'm talking about it on the album, but let's hold our horses for a sec. Yeah, Bitch and Hit is just fun, sexy song. I wanted to dance. I wanted to flirt. I wanted to feel this energy. And on the album, though, this album kind of signifies the beginning of denial process for the character. And it's actually quite interesting because you can see it. Like first couple of tracks, they're more pop. They're more, well, I don't want to say sweet, but there's something sugary about them. Something like I would imagine it to be a perfume, like something fruity. Not the only thing that's fruity. I'm speaking of my fan base. Anyways, Bitch and Heat, great pop track. Listen to it. It's out. There are slowed and reverb versions of it on my channel on YouTube. I think there's also a remix, I believe. Maybe not. I don't know. It's a great one. Give it a go. Next track, Dirty Madonna.
I'm the only girl you see. Wish I was only yours, your
So, Dirty Madonna was recorded right after Bitch and Heat. It's the sister track. It's the song that honestly made me actually believe in myself as a pop music artist, because I always thought that I make this weird, unusual music, which is great. But it was nice to actually try to make a song that, kind of does sound like top 40. But it's still unusual. It's still mine. It's different, but it's a pop track for sure. And I love the feeling that it gives me. It makes me feel powerful. And again, character during that stage on the album, she feels in denial. She doesn't know it, but she is in denial about her true feelings about life, which is she is depressed and she is tired, but she's trying to soothe the pain of, existence pretty much. And she just goes out and she's trying to be around people, and it doesn't really feel great because she's not about that. She's 1,000-year-old goddess like creature, but she's doing that because I guess she's supposed to, or maybe she feels that way. But she exudes this power, especially in this track, and it just, like, you can see that the facade is crumbling a bit, because she's talking about this experience of being with men on this track. She's telling the girls, who might listen to the song in the future, she tells them, like, don't believe those guys, they will break you, they will destroy you. I mean, pretty negative, but maybe in the way she tries to protect those young women, the way no one protected her, she had to learn those things during her 1,000 years, during different lifetimes. So yeah, even though very quite aggressively sexy dance pop music, but there are layers to it, So track number 4, Nympho.
I am that nympho who doesn't know pain. Got money, got fame. To me, life's a game. I'm going out tonight and I'm a huntress, looking for a hot start. I'll drink all of his blood.
Was actually originally recorded in Russian, and I released it this year in Russian. And I actually made the song, which is Nympha, in Russian. I released it as a demo 4 or 5 years ago, but it was different lyrically. The Russian version of this year was changed, and English version was obviously written for the first time. And I prefer English version because it's more complex. It was written a little bit later. It was one of the last songs actually recorded for the album. And I like this whole idea that it's like one of the few songs where you can see me there. Like, I'm actually saying things like, there's this girl who's great and she's this nympho and she's rich and she's this gorgeous woman. And towards the end of the track, I'm realizing that I can be that too, Again, there's a lot about sexual liberation if you look at this song as a standalone track. But again, it's a part of the album, so it's still, we're seeing her as a huntress. I almost said cuntress. She is giving cunt, but she's also giving hunt. She's searching for that perfect guy. I always loved, Gothic literature, loved vampires and horror movies and shit. So I imagined her to be kind of like a vampire. And actually, in the music video for Dirty Madonna, let's go back. I am a vampire, and I was like, you know what? I am her. Like, this is the character. But yeah, towards the end of the track, me, the real me, kind of realizing I could be that. But again, there's darkness in it. Like, why does she need to hunt for someone? Why can't she just go out? Why it needs to be this gore, Questions would pop in your mind, I think, or not, whatever. Let's move along. Track number 5, Faust.
My body and take my soul. You're the one and I'm the girl that you would die for. I know that you're obsessed and so am I know this isn't love, but it's not a crime.
Faust is pretty much track about yearning for someone. It's about limerence. It's about this love that could never happen. It's about mourning relationship you never had. And it's the most difficult type of shit to go through romantically. And I do have a tendency to fall in love with someone I can't be with. And it happened quite a few times. I once was in love with a preacher. He wasn't preacher at the time, but he was gonna be the preacher. So I was like, it's giving Fleabag, but it was a couple of years before Fleabag. It was one of my first crushes, I would say. And it was a crush, if you know what I mean. But yeah, it's beautiful. It's gothic. Like again, my inspiration is always the same. It's gothic novels. And in a way, this feels like, star-crossed lovers, this whole darkness, and he's the beast. I love Frankenstein. I am rereading it once a year, I think. I even have it there. Here it is. It's in Russian. I love it with all my heart. Probably my favorite book. So this song is just something so important for me, realizing that I do have a pattern and I need to change it, and I'm working on it. And I feel like many people can relate to it today, especially with parasocial relationships. We all once or twice in our life fell in love with someone we're not supposed to be in love with, and yeah, it can destroy you, girl. So this was Faust, and track number 6, Dead Mermaids.
See dead mermaids in the dead of the night. I know my demons and I'm trying to fight. Old habits die hard and I feel so stuck. Some girls die young, some girls are out of luck.
Honestly, Dead Mermaids is kind of song that it's hard to talk about because it uncovers so much of my personal life, and the way it was made is kind of insane. So I think it was 2021, and one of the girls from our friend group, she killed herself. I'm not going to specify what she did, but yeah. So the night after it happened, I had a dream. In that dream, I was drowning, and I had multiple mermaids around me, swimming and looking at me. And in a weird way, I felt this calm, and they looked like everything's fine. When I woke up, I realized that mermaids probably symbolized the girls who killed themselves in general. And it matches the folklore themes in Eastern European tradition. So basically, mermaids are the young women usually, who kill themselves by drowning. That's not what happened to the girl I wrote the song about originally, but, who inspired it, because it's not just about her, but it's about all women who left before their time, before having a chance to build life, to start great career, to have family if that's what they want or wanted. Also, my mother inspired that song in a way, because at the time she was battling cancer, and I always felt like her life was pretty much, in a way, wasted potential. I know it sounds harsh, but that's how I saw it all the time. She didn't have a career. She had 2 failed marriages, and then cancer, and time was running out, and she passed away 2 years ago. But at the time, it just felt like she never had a chance at life, you know? And then there's other theme in this song. I don't know why I'm pronouncing theme this weirdly today. It's a tricky word for those of us who were not born into the US or Europe. Whatever. Well, I was born in Europe technically, but only technically, bitch. So, my first boyfriend, when I told him that I want to break up with him, he sexually assaulted me. And there are a few lines about it in this song too, because in a way, I felt like I was one of them, those mermaids who didn't have a chance at life. I don't want to talk much about it. You know, it's just, I'm going to talk about it whenever I'm ready. But for now, I just want to say that it did feel like I died in a way. And maybe I'm one of them, of those mermaids. Because depression, in a way, makes you dead, you know? So, yeah, I don't know. I want you to listen to this song, and it's a beautiful track. And if you relate to this, I'm sorry. And if you don't relate exactly, but you just love the sound of it and the melancholy and the drama, that's great too. And yeah, I just love this song. It means so much to me. I want to move on to the next one, which is crazy to jump from this one to the next one, but the next one is How to Dispose of a Body.
What the fuck? If you've been a good girl for way too long, I put some instructions on your silly song in case you get angry on glorious nights. So you start your boyfriend with a kitchen knife.
So track number 7, How to Dispose of a Body. I had to use abbreviation for it because streaming services would not allow to use the original name, which is, you know, valid. But I actually had to put disclaimers into the song twice. The story is fiction. No one was harmed in the making of this glorious nightmare. And then somewhere in the track, I'm also saying that no man was harmed, you know. The scene is all fake, and so is his blood. The thing is, the way the song was written is just actually insane. I went one night in, I'd say July this year, and I was in, I think I was on Reddit actually. I don't remember what was I reading, some article, but another one popped up. I swear I was not searching for it. I am morbid and, you know, all those dark things, but I was not searching for that exactly. So it just popped up, one lady asking how to dispose of a body, hypothetically. And then another lady, lovely, she left the whole fucking instruction under it on Reddit. And I was like, you know what? Wouldn't it be fun? Wouldn't it be fun if someone made a song about it so it'd feel like a horror movie? Because back in the day, there was this movie, I Spit on Your Graves or something like that. I don't remember the name, but the movie was great, and it was violent, and the woman was a kick-ass, and she avenged her situation. But I just made it as a horror movie within the song. And for me, the song is funny. It's horrible, you know, it's gory, it's scary, but, you know, I was talking to my friend the other day about why so many of, you know, gay people, LGBTQ plus people, and women, why do we love horror movies so much? And I think that's because many of us feel oppressed, you know, and this in the movies, in horror movies, it's usually the outcast who's dangerous, you know, not the other way. Because like real monsters are people in suits, people you see every day, bosses and, you know, people in power, pretty much. But in those movies, it's usually someone who's not supposed to be powerful, but they are, and sometimes, not always, obviously, but especially if it's a female, killer or something, you tend to have compassion for her, or like ask what happened, what did he say? Like, he pushed her limits. I forgive her. Obviously, killing people is horrible, and I can go on and on about it. But the song is fantasy. The song is a way for me to channel my anger, and maybe for many of you too, who feel oppressed, who feel like they don't belong and they don't have power in their life. So that's why I made this song. It's, in a way, like, I always loved Kill Bill and those movies. I grew up on very powerful female leads, and I'm still inspired by them. Killing Eve, those types of shows. Anyways, let's move along. Track number 8, Boys Cry.
Yeah, I make all the boys cry, all the bitches wanna die, 'cause I'm so fine, they can kill my vibe. They roll on my name, boy, I made that game. I know how to play, I know what to say.
Boys Cry is actually one of the elders of the album. It's one of the older songs. I written the first draft in 2020. We recorded it in 2021, I think, maybe even earlier, actually, because originally I think it was like a witch house track, dance music, in 2019, but the lyrics were different. Then we recorded it with my first producer, and we released it as a feature. He was the feature on the track. But then I deleted it from everywhere, and when I was working on this album, I was like, you know what? It was a great song, Boys Cry. Maybe it should come back. And I changed the lyrical content a bit. Obviously, sonically, it changed completely. We recorded it at the studio with my producer and new producer, Danya, who I was talking about earlier. Did I say shout out to him? I don't know. Danya, привет. So, if I said it twice in the video, I'm gonna scream. Anyways, it's just like a cool, in a way, inspiration. It's kind of silly, the song is quite silly, I'd say. I originally was thinking about the song Boys Don't Cry by The Cure, and that's how this song was born. I was like, you know what? Actually, they do. But I made the song after one of the guys I was working with started, doing some moves on me, and he had a girlfriend, and I was so disgusted by it. And I was like, how would she feel if she knew, that that's the way he acts? Because like when he's around her, like it's a perfect guy who wants to marry her one day, and then he acts like total asshole behind her back. So that's the inspiration behind the song. Again, I'm probably saying it about all of them, all of my songs, but I love it. It's fun. It makes you going. I heard from my friends that they want to work out when they listen to this track, and I can see it. I can see it as a workout track. But yeah, Boys Cry, track number 8. Let's move to track number 9, Venus of Death.
Play by the rules and keep it safe. Smile while you're digging your own grave. Nobody asked you to be brave. Now close your eyes, let's test your faith.
Venus of Death originally was going to be called Venus, and it was a completely different song lyrically. In 2021, I was supposed to release my first album, which was going to be named Venus, and this would have been a title track, actually. But during those couple of years, everything changed. I became even more dark than I was, or maybe I just stopped pretending, I don't know. But this song from a love song about how, I am love and everything is love, turned into complete disaster of a perfection, I'd say. It's like this whole archetype. She's a destruction, Venus of death. She's not a goddess of love. She's here to destroy everything and cleanse, This song, just, it's such a beautiful purging for me. I never felt free, I feel like, before actually writing it. It's political. I'm not even going to try to pretend that it's not. I'm not this kind of artist. I could never. I'm like, I don't want to judge anyone, but at the same time I do, especially during this time in history, what's happening in the world. I want to be honest, and this song is political. Everything that's was happening during the last couple of years is fucking bullshit. And I felt trapped in my life, and I felt like I can't change anything, and I felt so fucking small. And then I turned this love song into something else, into something powerful, into something that gave me power to understand that I do have power, that I am strong. It's just this society, people in power, they want me to believe that I'm powerless, but I'm not, Maybe just saying those things is enough. Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe it's just a start. But I highly recommend for you to listen to this song. Even if nothing else resonates, this one is important. And just like Bitchin' Hate and Dirty Madonna, they're like sisters songs. This one also has a sister on the album, and it's called Nereid, which is track number 10. I wouldn't say that Nereid is like a positive song or anything, but every time I listen to it, I feel lighter. It reminds me of July. It reminds me of, meadows and the wind in July, like a hot wind, and the rivers and just freedom. It feels like freedom, And in a weird way, like, Venus of Death, Nereid, they're like yin and yang. But Nereid, she's trying to solve the world problems through love. She's questioning herself. Am I this Venus of Death who's about to destroy everything? Or could I be a Nereid, this loving, beautiful creature that tries to hold the world together? Because again, back to mythology, Nereids, they're underwater creatures, beautiful, who are nothing but positive in mythology, pretty much. And maybe there's some misinformation. Check it out. I'm not sure right now, but that's how I remembered it, and that's how I made the song. It's questioning a lot of things, and there's also this feeling of tiredness that you can see throughout the album. But she's tired, not in the way the 1,000-year-old Siren on the first track. Lady Gaga! Nereid, she's more like, let's do something with it. She's trying, but in a weird way, because we're closer to the end of the album, we can see that in this story, she probably won't change much. She might not be able to change anything globally, which is sad. And maybe that's why I chose to pick The Funeral, for track number 11. Funeral is honestly such a straightforward song. Like, I was depressed for the most part of my life since I was 13 years old. So I just wanted to put it into the song. I wanted to, maybe while writing it, I was trying to find something to heal, but in a way, it's just raw and honest emotion. That's how I felt for the most part of my life. Originally, I recorded a demo for it years ago, and it was called At Her Funeral, and it was like about ending relationship and all that. Like at the time, our relationship was all I was thinking about. I was quite boy crazy, but when I changed it entirely, it turned into this wonderful song about depression and not being able to see a way out, honestly. And we made a music video for it too. We shot it at the cemetery, and it was beautiful and cathartic in a way, you know. But the song shifts. I like how it changes in the middle. It at first it's like this classic witch house beat and cold synths, and then we move to this just typical dance beat, and it's also beautiful in here. In a way, it's like dance of death, I would say, because again, we're closer to the ending of album and seemingly to the story of Siren. And by this point, she's about to give up. She doesn't know what else to do, and it is actually like now I'm looking at it like I didn't write it, and I just feel like it's such a sad song, but beautiful, powerful again. After that, we have track number 12, which is River. Is this the end?
Is this the end? Am I really done for? Was I someone special or just a girl? A freak of nature, bitch, taken for two. Please take me, river, I belong to you.
River came to me in a dream, just like a few of my other songs, like Dead Mermaids, for instance. I remember just having this reoccurring dream where I would see a huge wave of water and it would take me in this dream. And the weird thing is, I didn't feel scared. And it kind of like I was weirded out by that. Like, why I'm not scared in this dream? This wave was taking me over and I was one with it and it didn't scare me. And then I realized that it symbolized universe for me, like maybe in a way God. I don't specifically believe in God or anything like that, but I think there is some sort, like I would say maybe I'm agnostic, you know. I think there is some sort of power. Um, well, actually, maybe I'm a Wiccan. I don't know. Now that's coming out. But seriously though, I feel like there is a big power, but I can't put a word to it, and I don't really want to, at least at this point of my life. Or maybe there are multiple powers. I don't know. But that's why I didn't feel scared in the dream. It felt like I'm coming together rather than disappearing, you know? And that's what the song is about. It was supposed to be originally the last track on the album. And in a way, she's accepting the fact that this world, this human world, she doesn't really belong in it. A lot of horrible stuff happened, you know, and she changed different roles and she never belonged. And in the end, she says, please take me a river, I belong to you. Because that's the ultimate power. And that's the feeling of belonging I believe you can actually experience only after you pass on. So, pass away. Anyways, I just really love this song. I love how cathartic it feels. It feels like rain in a way, like the melodically. And I have synesthesia. So when I hear it, I can see the colors, you know? and it's like this beautiful golden light and silver light together. It's like in their own spiral, you know. So anyways, that's the track number 12, and after that we move into the final track of the album, track number 13, The Birth.
It's so hard to believe. Yeah, I gotta be sure that I'm going far, that I'm this lucky girl, a goddamn superstar, turning her pain into gold.
So The Birth actually was the song that I made in, I'd say 2017. It was my first ever song, the first song I made fully back to back. It was called just Birth at the time. I self-released it as a demo and then deleted it. And the lyrical content was completely different. It was a bit, I don't want to say silly, but you could tell that the very young person made it. Tried to be deep, but it just, I don't know, it feels a bit silly. But there was a lot of beauty in it. And the chord progression, so fucking simple. The bass line, but it's beautiful. I love it. It reminds me of all the indie music that I loved since I was a teenager. And so I rewritten the lyrical content this year actually. So it changed. I think the original lines from the first draft probably just, it looks like you're okay, you pretend that you're fine, but you're not at a place you're supposed to be now. So the meaning of the song was, back then, I always felt like I'm supposed to be this successful girl, I'm supposed to be this powerful, but I'm not yet. And look, like I was thinking about it when I was 20, but thinking about it right now when I'm 30, 31 actually, it's like, what the fuck should I do next in order to actually change, and change my situation in my life? But the thing is, what I know so far, it's just the journey. The point is just to reach the finish line, and that's it. And my fear is it's not the finish one, or whatever you say. I'm scared that we might have to go back here after we die. And this whole album is kind of about it. And Birth kind of blends into the first track, and they use, like I said earlier, the same sounds of the ocean, of the sea that I recorded this summer. But there is a silver lining, especially towards the end of the track. I think she starts believing in herself, the siren, and me too, because it's my journey as well. And I feel like she's ready to go back. She's like, okay, it's not going to be easy, but I might experience some new emotions. I might learn something new, and maybe some parts of this journey would be beautiful, and some of it will be ugly as fuck, and she knows it, But maybe that's the whole point, to just experience all of it. I hate it, but, I didn't make the game. So, The Birth pretty much concludes my second studio album, and it was a journey. I feel like this album changed me and built me in so many ways, elevated me. I'm a different person than a year ago. I was just not sure of anything, and I didn't think I would actually make a record, and here we are with my wonderful songs out. I'm just very happy because I repeat this all the time, the phrase Florence Welch said in the song Morning Elvis. So I might butcher it right now, but it's pretty much, songs are children waiting to be born. And that's how I feel about it. That's like, I feel like songs are writing themselves through me. I always said that I make music because I can't not make music. It's just in me. And of course, there are some goals in this career, and also this like need to be accepted, I guess, and be loved. Because I wasn't loved. I wasn't loved by my parents. I wasn't needed, as a child. And maybe in a way I'm trying to get it as an adult. But most and foremost, music, it always came first. And it's just something I was born to do. And I'm glad to do it. And I'm going to leave it at that. I'm really grateful if you stayed till this moment of the video. I suggest you listen to this album, but you don't have to, obviously. Maybe you already did and you love it or hate it, or like, don't feel anything. It's okay. It's whatever. I'm just happy it's out there, alive and breathing. I hope you're having a wonderful day or night, whatever time it is that you're part of the world. Subscribe or, push the like button. I just hope we could see each other very soon. And yeah, I'm gonna go for now. Bye.